Okay.
All right, this is great. Hey, Jenny, thank you so much. Again, Frankfurt Lossie, excited to speak with you. As I had shared with you, this is a super casual, comfortable conversation introducing yourself. This is for the context of saving time at the end of the day for some of our clients and friends who are looking to purchase properties in your part of the world. So if you'll share a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the markets that you serve and some of the ways that you'll be able to bring your experiences to help these clients.
Of course. Well, thank you so much. And it's so nice to meet everyone that's watching this. My name is Jenny Telwar. I'm the managing broker at Zeitlin Sotheby's International Realty. Zeitlin is based in Nashville, Tennessee. I am in the largest office in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee, and I oversee 120 agents in that office. We are also the #1 Sotheby's office for the state of Tennessee.
Mm.
So I've been in this role coming on 6 years. I've been in real estate since 2011
Mm.
officially, but dabbled quite a bit in it prior to that with different family projects that we had, rental properties, beach developments, etc. So I have a very extensive knowledge of and been around real estate really since the late 90s. I moved to Middle Tennessee in 1994, so I am pretty much a local now. I've been there right at 30 years.
Yeah.
So I definitely know the area. And I've lived primarily south of the city on the 65 corridor. So when we get into like maps and details, the 65 corridor kind of runs through the heart of the city. I'm south of that, which is Brentwood, Franklin, some of the really kind of idyllic areas that have been drawing a lot of people from out of state.
Mm.
Also, it's a celebrity hub. We have a lot of, we've kind of become what's called the East LA.
Mm.
And we are how, Jay-Z and Beyonce just announced they're moving to Leapers Fork area, which is an area south about 25 minutes from my personal property. I
Mm.
lived in Brentwood and Franklin though for a majority of that time.
Mm.
And we have seen a massive, of course, growth. When I moved to Middle Tennessee, it was about 440,000 people were in my pocket. We are now going to hit our third million,
Mm.
but we're growing very quickly. So it's been fun to be in real estate
Yeah.
in this kind of growth.
Mm.
We are we're seeing tremendous growth in new construction. Builders have more land than ever before. My background started in new construction, and I worked in new construction for about 2.5 years or so. Worked with about 6 different builders primarily, and really learned the ins and outs of blueprinting, selections. Right now, I would say our custom builders are really taking a hands-on approach. There's been more custom builders enter our market
Mm.
than ever before the last 5 years. So we are seeing new ones enter the space, and I take a lot of time to vet those because it's kind of like we don't want to get into a situation where it's kind of like there's a hurricane that comes to Florida and all the roofers show up from everywhere.
Mm.
We're building so quickly in Nashville. We want to make sure the quality is there for our custom homeowners. So we're really taking the time to vet and share within the company of my 120 agents who are good custom builders, we're having good success with, who are following up on their word, their warranties. These are kinds of things that are very much in place. So I'm very familiar with the custom build process, and I've worked with a lot of the local builders that have been doing custom builds in Tennessee for a very long time. I have deep relationships with them. With that said, builders acquired more land than ever before during COVID. So there's huge opportunity to have acreage and custom builds, particularly south of the city. I
Mm.
know, Frank, you mentioned though that waterfront and some options like that might be a consideration.
Mm.
Those are going to be more north of the city. So that's the Gallatin, Hendersonville area, which I do have some current listings in right now.
Mm.
So I've worked all over Middle Tennessee, but those are more of our lakefront, celebrity lakefront. Kelly Clarkson and different people that have lived in the area have the residences up around those properties and on
Mm.
that old Hickory Lake, which is
Mm.
really desirable. So those are some opportunities on the waterfront side, but we also have the equestrian and Leapers Fork area, which is where Nicole Kidman and I'm not trying to name drop. I'm just trying to let you know where
Oh,
people live.
yeah.
Timberlake and Jessica Biel and all that. This is where this influx of Hollywoodites and LA has kind of mixed with Nashville and the entertainment space that we have, of course, with music and
Yes.
everything else. So there's a lot of opportunity to
Right.
do custom builds in this pocket. And some of the other areas that are really getting good traction as well that I mentioned in my email that I don't want to overlook, Oak Hill and Forest Hills
Mhm.
is an area that's very close to Nashville. It's only like 12 minutes to get into the downtown and experience what downtown Nashville has to offer. But you're still got massive lots and it's tear down. So there's opportunities to solicit to get some of those older ranches, tear it down and have the new mega 3, 5, $10 million home built there. And that's happening a lot in that pocket.
Yeah.
So College Grove. So Wall Street Journal just did an article and there was some of us brokers quoted in it that College Grove is now one of the most affluent communities in the United States. And it's just south of Nashville off the 65 corridor on the 840 loop, which is the interchange loop that circles the city. And that's where the Grove Golf Course is, lots of big builds. And we have a lot of executive retired C-suite, high-level professionals that have kind of opted for that College Grove area for convenience, lifestyle, privacy, amenities, et cetera. So that's a big area that we're seeing a lot of custom builds in right now. And we, of course, work in that space quite frequently. So, and then if you want to be more in town, we've got Belmead, Westmead. Those are really strong areas for tear down and build. Landon, which I mentioned on my list, they work a lot in the Westmead, Belmead area. And they're one of our preferred custom builders. They have some beautiful properties over there now with bowling alleys and all. I mean, they can do it all. It's really fascinating what people have as amenities now since the pandemic within their space. So there's a lot of opportunity there too. And so I'm very familiar with all these pockets.
Yeah.
And you know, just to highlight a couple of things about me, I'm a mother of two that both attended school in the Nashville area. In the private school sector, I really have a passion for helping people. I've always been involved in a lot of charitable organizations. Rescue dogs are my big thing. I have 3 rescue pups myself. Had 4. We lost one senior dog this past spring. We're looking for a replacement. But I've got a big heart when it comes to that. Our charitable fund partners, we work a lot with Second Harvest Food Bank and our other charitable partners, Our Kids, which is helping sexual assault victims. So, you know, we're really invested in the community at Zeitlin. And of course, the Sotheby's brand is one of excellence.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you so much. This is so good. I particularly loved, certainly all of the thoroughness and describing all the different pockets and how, you describe the merits of each one of them. But to me personally, and I think a lot of our clients also care about the last bit that you mentioned, right? Being involved in the community and giving back. Because clearly you're a great professional and clearly you come with a firm that stands for excellence, right? But I think that last bit of it is a very important piece of it, and the fact that you're a mother is something to be lauded as well. I am thankful to you, and I'm sure that our clients who they're successful in their work, but they're also parents, they're also humans, and these are the things that they think about and they occupy their time with. And so I'm glad to be working with a professional who understands the importance of those kinds of things and not simply just a transaction.
For me,
Uh,
relationship
yeah,
and helping with it's not just the move and the build and the sale. It's, I have clients that closed years ago that I got an email today and they need somebody to do some built-ins. They need somebody to do this. I really pride myself on my vendor list. I vet my vendors. So there's a lot that goes into the transaction on the front end, but when you're living in the space, you're living in Tennessee,
yeah.
I have made a really strong effort in the last 10 years to build super strong vendor relationships. And I had a client, I'll tell you a quick story on that. I had a client from California, ex-CEO, came here, moved from the Bay Area. And he was just really frustrated with selling his own personal property because he couldn't get anybody to show up, right? And he's buying in Tennessee and we're out on the deck and we're finishing the inspection. And there was some roof things There was some paint things he wanted. He wanted a paint quote. He wanted a quote for a security system. He wanted all this stuff. And I just got on the phone and I had all those vendors at that property within an hour and a half. And
Wow.
he was like, you call people and they show up.
That's right.
And it's something that I've prided myself on because my vendors do show up for me and they are some of the best in the business. And if they're not the best anymore, they're not on my list anymore. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. And, that's one of the things that I wanted to be intentional about. As I shared with you, the whole point of this is to save our clients and some of my
absolutely.
clients time and to be connected with someone who is as thorough, vets the professionals that they work with, is plugged in the quality of work. Those are the kind of things that help save headache, right? You could have a lot of wealth, but the sort of thing that's very valuable is time. And a small water heater issue can be a time suck. So to work with the right real estate professional who has those deep relationships, those reliable relationships, is incredibly valuable. One thing and as I shared with you, I wanted to touch on is the accessibility via private planes or even for international clients. Could you speak a little bit about that? I mean, everybody knows Nashville, but still, I think it'd be good to touch on it.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I have found so fascinating with this, my husband is doing his private pilot's license. So I'm very familiar with kind of the airflow of kind of the smaller airports around our area. And what makes why Nashville has gotten on the map and has grown so quickly is due to the private plane aviation airport that we have. And
Mm,
that is one of the strongest. It has more private planes in and out of that area because of its accessibility. We're so close to Chicago. We're so close to Miami. We're so close to Dallas. We're this perfect, so close to Atlanta. We're this perfect pocket for that stopover, refuel, accessibility kind of thing.
mm,
So that is huge here. We also, though, are also working on BNA, and I've been very connected with the airport authority here. Our airport is getting more international flights. Now, Nashville has been slow to grow in this space, but we have a massive airport renovation going on right now.
yeah.
It is almost completed.
Mm,
With that, we're becoming a main Southwest hub for interconnected things. And I know Southwest is not really maybe, but it's just showing our accessibility to cities and all that. But because of the commerce that's coming to town, Yokohama Tires, Mitsubishi Motors, et cetera, that are now headquartered. And we did those group moves, by the way. We did the Mitsubishi move from Huntington Beach to Nashville. We also moved Alliance Bernstein to
yes, of
Nashville. We
course.
were the
Yeah.
primary firm for both of those.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, we they're adding international routes such as they're looking at a nonstop to Tokyo from Nashville. We already have a nonstop to London, which was set up when Virgin Hotels and Richard Branson opened in downtown Nashville.
Mm,
So we are really growing in that opportunity in that space to get high profile clients where they need to be.
yeah.
And that has also became even more exquisite with the Taylor Swift movement. She lives in Nashville, as you know.
Yes.
I actually sold the condo across from her at
Yeah.
the Alicia that she has in the downtown space.
Mm,
During her concert week, she was there, and we were doing showings. And so but she, her commute and in and out, and she loves being in Nashville so much. That's really also been a real enticement for our airport to add a lot of routes and a lot of that private accessibility, ironically.
yeah, I have had the opportunity to be in Nashville just once. I certainly got to enjoy some of the music scene and the barbecue there, the honky tonk that you have. Oh, I love the honky tonk that you have in Nashville. My gosh. So
Yeah.
but to that end, right? I think it's a really beautiful. It has its own energy, which is very different from New York or LA. And I think even like you were talking about, I was going to touch on this, right? The idea that someone from Tokyo or a producer from Mumbai would be interested in owning a property here.
Oh, absolutely.
I think those are the kind of things that I would love to connect with you to help facilitate. These are things that are sort of are not easily done today, and I think just being familiar and having the right email so I can just CC Jenny and say, hey, here's a friend, here's a client, I think who could really benefit from a little bit of guidance and high touch experience. There's exactly the kind of service that you provide, I think would be very, very valuable. So hey, I think we touched on all the important things, but because we're talking about Nashville, do talk a little bit about the lifestyle beyond the honky tonk. Talk about the music a little bit, and then we'll pause there. Yeah.
Well, of course, Nashville became on the map for music, right?
Yeah.
I'm personally not a country music fan. However, all kinds of genres of music have entered our space, and production, staging effects, even down to like massive tour bus companies have all, developed around this space in Nashville. But our culture, I think, when you look at a city culture, I kind of think of a couple of things. Do you feel at home?
Mm,
Are you welcome? And
mm,
that's something that I think that is really resounding with Nashville is everybody talks about the friendliness of the space,
mm,
the helpfulness, the casual nature. It's got high profile business, but there's a casualness
yeah.
that just kind of exudes across our city that is welcoming and comforting. And it is that kind of home cooked feeling
That's
that you get, even though you're in a major metropolitan area. And that's something that Nashville's really holding on to.
right.
As far as lifestyle as well, we're trying to keep the communities very walkable. We're
Mm,
trying to keep local business in
mm,
play and support local. We have a lot of niche markets that are around our Music's Row,
mm,
the Gulch,
mhm,
downtown, East Nashville, Germantown. We're trying to keep these little pockets with their personality.
yeah.
And I think those kinds of things are really important because I think it's when a city loses its identity or loses its culture is when people feel disconnected. And we're really trying to create a community that's connected. And my works with the downtown partnership and the leadership councils and stuff are all that's been the focus in transport, in transportation, in dining, in culinary experiences, in hotel experiences, everything else. It's meant to be a welcoming, safe haven and space, and that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to create in a community
Hey,
and
I'm
keep.
so glad and so glad that you're contributing to that hands-on. And I think our clients would benefit a lot working directly with you. I know you have a big team, but I also like the fact that you're very hands-on.
Very much so.
And I look forward to connecting folks with just this wonderful person who's great energy in Nashville, Tennessee, in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
And again, I think I had mentioned to you, this is a smaller request, right? We're gonna do a little sort of 3-second pause, and then if you'll just say a quick hello to some of my friends, that'd be really great.
Okay, let me pull their names up again. I just want to make sure I say them correctly. So I wanted to say a quick hello to Gary, Michael, Jessica, and Paul. And as you start to look for your needs in Middle Tennessee, I would love to lock arms with you. It's a partnership relationship when I work with people. And I like to be in the trenches with my clients and really be supportive and a guidepost for these big moves.
Excellent. Hey, thank you. You heard it. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we're working together and we're looking forward to bringing Jenny's experiences and the Sotheby's family to help everyone. But Jenny, really quickly, didn't you have something to show me on the screen
I do,
share?
if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
And this is just a
please.
guide. I just want to share this because it's a great guide that we produce
Yeah.
called The
Oh,
Insider.
mm,
And I'm happy to put these in the mail to you to
yeah.
hand out. But they're a good area coverage of Middle Tennessee. And as you can see here, it goes into our brand, of course, which is about relocate. But here is where we get into schools, private schools, all of our institutions and colleges, our medical, spotlight neighborhoods, communities. This is just a way to get a real quick recap that we personally wrote uh,
Mm,
to highlight every neighborhood and all of its features. And you can see they're very different as you go around the city.
yeah.
Um, so I'd love to send this to you and let you have
Yeah.
this as a resource so that you can kind of see what it is we offer and the different pockets of town that we highlight.
Yeah,
And
I would love it. Thank you so much. That was really fantastic. I think it would be a great thing to share as well. Having something tactile is always good. And
always
it's helpful to me as well, right? Some of these folks will certainly connect directly, and other times it may be that we're working through a business manager, and I'm also there as an intermediary helping, calling on you just because you and I have a familiarity. But of course, at the end of the day, it'll be the clients making the decisions.
support.
But hey, such a pleasure to talk to you. I'm gonna hit stop recording and then I'll just speak with you a little bit.